for our second guest speaker. So our second guest speaker is going to be Shawn. Shawn is a recruiter and he has years and years of experience. He has been in the talent acquisition world, HR world, recruiting world. So he has firsthand experience. If we need to bring him on as a primary first guest speaker again, we will. That's not a problem. But my guest speakers have been booked up all the way till August, believe it or not. So nevertheless, Shawn and I have known each other for a month, maybe a few weeks. We've met in person. I met him yesterday. We had beer together at Lake Norman in Charlotte networking session. You may have seen his face in one of the pictures that Jimmy posted yesterday on our group, LinkedIn page. He's just an overall just good guy. And by the way, I tell you all, I've met most of these guest speakers that I bring on, and I make sure I vet them. I make sure they have a good heart. I don't want to bring jerks onto our guest speaker series. So I do my own so-called filtration to make sure that I'm attracting the right type of people. Without further ado, Shawn, if you can do a small introduction of yourself and then go into some tips and tricks. Maybe what we'll do is if you can give us like one tip or trick you can share, then we will stop recording and then we will go into our Q&A. So feel free to ask a lot of questions, have your questions ready. Go for it, Shawn. We cannot hear you, Shawn. You're on mute right now.
Yeah, I'm trying to locate him to unmute him now just to check and see.
He's unmuted.
Yeah, I'm trying to, yeah. He's not showing mute on my end. Now he's muted.
Yeah.
Now he's unmuted.
Yeah, we still cannot hear you.
Yeah.
Maybe it's double mute.
Hey, how about now? Testing. Can you
Yes.
hear me?
Good. You're good.
Okay, awesome. Those microphone settings. Hey everybody, how's it going? Thank you for that excellent introduction, Danny. I definitely appreciate it. I'm excited to speak to the entire AHF organization here. It's exciting to see so much growth coming through in such a small amount of time as well. So let me go ahead and give an introduction. So my name's Shawn Gough. I sit here in Charlotte, North Carolina, along with Danny. I met Danny about a month ago, and great person, and excited to see what we can do together as well. I'm excited to join this organization. But real quickly, I'm from Western New York, originally from Rochester, New York. I've lived in Charlotte for about 16 years now. And my industry, I sit in the staffing and search industry. So I got started in 2009 in a recruiting role, and I have a background in IT specifically. But I joined an organization in 2009 when I first moved to Charlotte, recruiting, and I recruited from 2009 to 2015. And then I decided to move on and get some experience on the other side of the business, which is the sales, business development side. So I joined another organization, actually the biggest one in the world right now for HR services. And I was there for about 6 years in a sales and business development and professional services sales capacity, working with my recruiting team to fill a lot of different positions, fill a lot of solutions-based projects globally as well. And then I moved on after that into more of a strategy-based role as well. And that's what I want to talk to you guys about as well. So being in the industry for 16 years, when it comes to my mind, I'm always sort of thinking strategically how to be a little bit different than what everybody else is doing out there. And I wanted to bring that to you guys as well in terms of how I personally would go about looking for a role versus maybe some of the normal stuff that you hear from HR or talent acquisition or recruiting on what to do with your resume or what to say during an interview. I've had a lot of success in a few different ways, and I wrote down some notes here. So if you guys didn't know, and I know everybody on this call is from a number of different industries, right? There's two, pretty much two ways to work, in the country right now. You're either a direct hire or you work on a contract basis. And for anybody that doesn't know or have experience working on the contract side, that's another full opportunity where you can join an organization. It could be a small company or a big company as big as like a Home Depot or a JP Morgan Chase, and work a project in a number of different fields. It could be in IT, it could be in engineering, it could be in sales and marketing or whatever it might be. But that's an opportunity where you can go in and you could work on a contract basis for a certain amount of time. It could be, 3 months, 6 months, 18 months, 24 months, ongoing as well. And then you have the direct hire side. I think I saw a stat that up to 36%, maybe 40% of the entire U.S. workforce works on a contingent labor or a contracting basis. Okay, so keep that in mind because pretty much in every city in the country right now, no matter what market you're in, you're going to find staffing and executive search firms that put people to work on a direct hire basis, on a full-time retained basis, or on a contracting basis. Okay, so for me, if I'm going out there looking for and applying to jobs, I'm applying online and trying to network as much as I can. But I want you to think about the folks that are in your market and seek these folks out that are recruiters, not working for the organizations as talent acquisition or HR recruiters internally, but the folks that are servicing those organizations, right? So agencies. And it's a real easy search. You could start searching. I personally, I really like the American Business Journal. There's a chapter pretty much every single city across the country. They have lists for pretty much everything that you can think of, but it's a great opportunity to pull lists of the top 10, top 20, top 50 firms in that city for anything you're looking for, right? So for example, if I go to the Charlotte Business Journal, for example, I can pull a list of the top 20, top 30 search firms in that city. But you can also do it, over Google as well. But that's one thing that I would do strategically is start looking at the staffing firms that are servicing your marketed area, your city, right? To get in, because as we all know, if you go to look for a job and you apply online, a lot of the times it's your resume is going to sit there for a while, right? It's going to sit there. Sometimes it'll take an internal recruiter maybe 15 days, 30 days to get back in touch with you, or sometimes it could take 12 months, right? So you want to find a way to circumvent this process, and the way that you do it is that you're gonna have relationships and start building relationships with these staffing agencies and staffing firms, right? So number one, first thing I would do is I would start looking for recruiters. Okay, I would start getting on LinkedIn. I would start pulling those searches for the top 10, top 20 search firms in your area. I would number two go to their website, okay, and see what kind of industries they operate in. They may have services based in healthcare. So if you're in healthcare, that's definitely a green flag. If you're in IT or marketing or life sciences, whatever it might be, see if that's a service offering that they specialize in on their website. If it is, normally they'll have a little box there where you can submit your information. So I would go ahead and do that. Okay, so at that point, you're getting your information into their internal database, right? If you do that, so two things will happen. First thing, maybe you won't hear anything, but number two, maybe you'll have recruiters start reaching out to you. Okay, so those are definitely some first steps. After you do that and you start reaching out to recruiters, I would try to get them on the phone, start setting up phone calls and emailing with them because these are the folks that are going to have jobs on their desk literally that day, right? For folks that are hiring. And the good thing about staffing firms is they're able to partner with organizations that sometimes have trouble like getting these positions filled, right? For a number of different reasons. Maybe the organizations have internal human resource partners or recruiters or talent acquisition partners, and maybe there's not enough. Maybe they have way more volume when it comes to hiring right now than the team can handle, right? Number two, maybe they have talent acquisition partners and internal recruiters that just aren't very, very good. Maybe they're newer or they don't have a lot of experience or they don't have the tools, right, that are needed to supply that organization with the fastest and the best talent possible, right? So a lot of these times, because of this, they'll reach out to agencies or agencies will reach out to them to get these positions filled. So I would start building out relationships with all these agencies. I would start meeting the account executives that work on their teams as well. The account executives, or there's a lot of different names, business development managers, or client partners, whatever it might be. and this kind of goes back to what I was saying when I actually went to the other side of the business and got on the sales side. These are the folks that actually have the real relationships with the hiring managers, right? C-suite and down. Okay, so these are the folks that can actually call up the hiring manager, the CEO, CIO, directors, VPs, and be like, "Hey, I've got John Smith here that wants to apply the position that I saw that you have. Um, Go ahead and take a look at his resume so we can get around the process," right? So you want to start building relationships with the folks in your market or a targeted market of yours that you want to work in. Maybe you're in Boston and you want to work in Charlotte, or you're in Charlotte and you want to move to Dallas, whatever it might be. Start looking at the local agencies that are in those markets, because those are the folks that are going to be, those are the ones that are going to have the fastest access to those jobs. I would, when you're meeting with these folks, I would really try to understand what their client base is. So if you're working with like a Randstad or a Tech Systems or a Manpower Group or something like that, and you're sitting or on the phone with an account executive and a recruiter, right? I would try to understand some of the clients that they're working with. Who are the clients they're working with? Maybe what names of companies are they working with? What kind of relationships do they have? How long have they been working with these organizations for? Because the best relationships are the ones that get the positions filled the fastest, you know? So those are things that I would do, number one, strategically, to get around the competition and the normal applying to a job and having it sit there and waiting for HR to reach out to you and so on and so forth. Um, I would keep a spreadsheet, and I still have my spreadsheets up. When I was on the market over the last 10, 15 years, I've probably got probably about 50 different lines of recruiters from all over the country and here in Charlotte, as well, with contact information. Next column is the opportunity that they reached me out for, and then the disposition of what happened with it. But a lot of these folks are still in the industry and they're still working and they know everybody, right? So you always want to keep a Rolodex of all your contacts when it comes to recruiters, when it comes to account executives, hiring managers that you've spoken with, because they'll remember you, when you reach back out to them. As long as you ended that relationship or ended that conversation last time on a good note, they're going to remember you. They really, really will. Strategically, that's what I would do. A few other things that I would go over, and I know we're kind of short on time here, but I would try to really get out there and meet people, right? Danny and I were at an IT professionals group meeting yesterday, and it was a great turnout. There was probably about 40 people that showed up, a little bit more than we expected. Met a lot of new folks. If you're on the job market right now, I would go out and even meet strategically. I would look for human resources based events. I would get out there and meet HR teams for a lot of the organizations and companies that are in your local market, right? So you can Google it, or you can go to, businessjournal.com or American Business Journal, look up your city and see when the next Human Resources Awards, event's going to be, and go there. It might cost maybe $20, $25 to get in, but if you go there, you'll be in a room with maybe 500 human resource talent acquisition folks that are hiring for all the companies in your area, right? And they're going to know who to get you to immediately. So strategically, that's something that I would really do. Sometimes it'll be a little bit out of our comfort zone, but generally you're going to find that when you're out and about meeting people locally, people are just really, really nice. They want to get back to meeting people face to face and having conversations and seeing smiles, especially now that the pandemic is over or semi over, right? People want to get back out there. And that's the way that you're going to get ahead of the game and get in front of folks that you really need to get in front of as well. LinkedIn. I hope everybody's on LinkedIn out there. It's definitely your the new resume at this point. It really, really is. If someone doesn't have your physical resume or your actual, Microsoft Word or PDF resume, they're going to look at your LinkedIn. Any hiring manager is definitely going to look at your LinkedIn immediately. Okay, so it's definitely something that you want to have up. You want to have it current. And LinkedIn has come a long way in terms of artificial intelligence, in terms of keywords, in terms of functionality and capability. So one thing I was talking to Danny about yesterday is, in my industry in staffing, there's a lot of AI platforms, as every industry, right? But there's a lot of AI platforms that are targeting staffing companies, because all we do is search. We're always searching for talent in a number of different ways, right? And what I've noticed is that a lot of these AI platforms are targeting keywords on your LinkedIn profile from an AI perspective. So they have AI models that are pulling up these profiles on LinkedIn based on keywords that are in your profile, so that we can actually start reaching out to candidates and so that we can actually start reaching out to potential clients, right? But it's moved very, very quickly here over the last 12 months, honestly, as all AI has. right as well. It'll make your head spin. But one thing that I would do is if you're looking at your profile and you're looking at under edit, if you go under your profile, you're gonna find, let me see actually where it was. It's actually underneath your headline. If you go there, you can have your name, right? And it'll show you, I'm gonna pull it up here for you real quick. Just bear with me for a second. So underneath your first name, last name, it's gonna be a section where it's gonna show you your headline. And what I would do, and I would look at other folks in your industry as well, but I would actually type out there your title. So maybe you may be, a project manager, right? And I would also put your main skill set. So if you're a project manager, just for sake of example, right? If you're a project manager, I would type out in your headline project manager, and I would also type out the main skill set, whether it's software, whether it's infrastructure, whether it's construction, whether it's marketing, whatever it might be. It's another opportunity for a lot of these AI platforms to capture a keyword in that area of headline, because that's the first thing that you're going to see when you're looking at someone's profile. So number one, folks that are targeting you and searching you out are going to find that, and you're gonna show up in a lot of different searches as well. And then number two, because of where we are technology wise nowadays, these AI platforms and software platforms that are out there are going to pull your profile up a little bit earlier than the rest of the competition as well. So I would definitely recommend that. I would definitely just continue to network and meet as many people as you can. Um, and then you know what? I mean, also, if you're interviewing and you didn't get the job, I know we were talking about ghosting a little bit with Eric, and everything. Great conversations and great topics. Honestly, I mean, it's an aggressive world out there. It's an assertive world, and if you want to get the job that you want, you really have to get out there. And if it's a role that you're interviewing for and you didn't get it, and maybe the HR recruiter ghosted you, or even the hiring manager, or even it could be a VP, it could be an SVP, it could be a director, whatever it might be, feel free. I mean, I would definitely send them a note, right? Keep relationships going. It's not personal, it's just business, right? So maybe you didn't get the role and they didn't get back to you. It could be a situation where maybe there's not a good person and they didn't get back to you, right? That happens. Number two, it could be a situation where they just got too busy, right? But don't be afraid to send them a LinkedIn message. Hey, my name's Shawn. It was great to meet you. I didn't hear back, but hope everything's well. Let me know if I could be a resource in the future for you. Let me know how I can help. Let's keep in touch, right? You never know what could happen. 2, 3 years, you could be working and that person might not be working, and they may be reaching out to you. So it's constantly a back and forth street, right? So make sure to do that. There's nothing bad that can happen. What's the worst that can happen? They don't respond to you. Well, they didn't respond to you anyways for, for the job. So I would definitely send those messages. I have a lot of success hearing back from people and keeping in touch with folks that I didn't really get a job from, or didn't hear back maybe 2 years ago. LinkedIn's a wonderful resource, guys. So that is those are my suggestions. Danny?
All right, thank you. I appreciate it. So let's just stop the recording and then